In today's episode, the Angels could be the AL favorite, the Lakers are struggling at 10-14, and are the Pats the best in the NFL? You're watching The Pitch. Welcome to another episode of The Pitch. As always, I'm your host, John Fox, alongside here with Mitch Sabatelli and Mike Pescaroni. Now, first, we're going to start off with some MLB hot stove coverage.
Nice.
Angels signed Josh Hamilton for 5 years, $125 million buckaroos. Thoughts on this?
Yeah, this is huge for the Angels and huge for the Rangers letting him go. Listen, 5 years, this is what Josh Hamilton was waiting for. He was waiting for somebody to step up with the big bucks. Now 25 a year, 5 years, and now that lineup is absolutely loaded, and the Angels are the best team in the AL on paper right now. Down that lineup, Mike Trout, who was the MVP runner-up to Miguel Cabrera last year. Mark Trumbo, who came from nowhere and looks like the best power hitter in the game. Then you throw Albert Pujols, who may be the greatest hitter of all time, in that lineup, along with Josh Hamilton.
Yeah,
this lineup is absolutely stacked. Not to mention with that rotation as well, with still the guys that they just got, getting Tommy Hanson, Weaver. It's a solid rotation there. C.J. Wilson as well.
Wilson, yeah. And
they just got Ryan Madson to be their closer. This is the stacked team. And now that the Rangers lost Josh Hamilton, this is addition by subtraction. Angels basically locked up that AL West.
I don't know about that. I think it's kind of like with the. I think the Angels and the Blue Jays still have a lot to prove. As they got all these people, they still gotta actually win the division now. But I mean, the key to that's a huge pickup for the Angels. 5 years, 125. So, he didn't get his 10-year deal like he wanted, but he got 5 years, and $125 million is a great paycheck.
Right.
At the end of the friggin' 5 years, but. I mean, that's a great pickup for them, and good for Hamilton getting the big money.
So with saying that, would you say they are the favorites in the whole AL?
With the pitching staff that they have now and that lineup like you were just talking about, I don't see why not, but they still got to prove themselves and beat teams like the Yankees, and still got to take over the Athletics, who actually took over the division last year, so...
Well, it's not fantasy baseball. You got to go by with experience first. You got to obviously throw Detroit there with that rotation, and because they made the World Series last year, and then also the Yankees. Yeah, A-Rod's gone, but we're going to talk about who they filling in for A-Rod. They're still a solid lineup there. Yeah. They still got a solid rotation.
They're always a playoff team.
And they're always a playoff team. And yeah, they're getting up there in age, but they are also getting up there with still they have the best skill in
Hopefully
the AL.
These are the moves unlike last offseason with the Angels that will actually bring them to where they want to be instead of catapulting them down, even with the Red Sox that year that they both failed.
With that being said, though, I don't think I've seen a more stacked team offensively than this team in the last 10 years or so. And I don't think the Angels are done. I think they're still going to get another starting pitcher to go along with that rotation. And I think they're going to fill in, and they have a lot of money as well, as you can see what they've been doing. Oh, yeah. If they're going to have any issues later in the season, I think they'll be able to find training partners. They're going to be able to fill out this roster nicely. And if I had to put money on it, I would say that the Angels are going to represent the AL in the World Series next year.
Now, how does this affect the Rangers overall?
This is huge.
Yeah.
Now, listen, Josh Hamilton not only was he the best player for the Rangers, he was the face of Texas right there. Texas needed that big, long, that guy. When you see Rangers, you think Josh Hamilton. Before they had A-Rod, but that kind of got cleared out. Then you got Michael Young. Josh Hamilton really took the face of the franchise for the last 5 years or so. And yeah, he's had his ups and downs, but this is huge loss for the Rangers. Even though he's had up and down years as well, and you got Adrian Beltre out there, you got other players. I mean, they lost Napoli. Losing Josh Hamilton is going to hurt the Rangers more than it helps the Angels, in my opinion.
Losing two big power hitters in the same offseason is just horrible. You lost Napoli and you lost Hamilton.
Right.
That's like the worst possible thing you could have just done.
And Beltre is getting up there in age.
Your sleeve.
I mean, you got Nelson Cruz. You still got a solid lineup. Elvis Andrews. You got a couple guys coming up in the farm system.
What pisses me off, though, is that Josh Hamilton helped the Rangers set up for more than enough times to win it. 2 years in a row they get to the World Series. Exactly. And, when all else fails last year, fans start booing Josh Hamilton. They're losing faith in Josh Hamilton. And Josh Hamilton doesn't owe the Rangers anything at all.
I thought, and John Daniels has been a great GM since he stepped up. I think this was a huge test for him. Was he going to be able to shout the big bucks? I mean, he missed with Cliff Lee a few years ago, and now this was his second test. And Cliff Lee was a little bit older, but Josh Hamilton, like I said, was the face of the franchise. Daniels needed to make the move here and really sign Josh Hamilton, in my opinion. 5 years, 125. I mean, it's not a huge. He would have definitely taken that if he wasn't in Texas. He wasn't going to take a hometown discount, but 5 years, that's not a huge investment, not that much of a risk there. I would have made that move if I was in.
Hopefully he stays strong going to LA and everything. That's just... I mean,
even if he doesn't, I mean, they have Trumbo, Pujols, and Trump.
True, but I'm just saying, like, just in case he regresses going to LA.
Let's not forget about Kendrick Morales, too.
And they might not even be the best team in that city. I mean, you look across this...
Dodgers,
Dodgers
are pretty good.
Moves,
that's a solid city right there.
Yeah, I mean, so that's at least, 2 out of,
Great deal for the Angels.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty... ups your chances of having a championship for LA.
And they didn't have to give him the 10 years either. So
all right.
Moving
on. R.A. Dickey could be headed to the Blue Jays. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, this is a counter right here. Like Peps just said, Toronto is right there, and yeah, they have all the people there. Are they still going to win the division with all that competition? Baltimore, Yankees, Red Sox, Rays. Adding R.A. Dickey, who just won the NL Cy Young Award for the best pitcher in the game, putting him over there. Yeah, you got Josh Johnson now, Mark Burley. You got a solid rotation. They did need that big ace in the beginning. I think R.A. Dickey's that guy, and everyone's going to say how it's a knuckleball and he's getting up there in age. Guys who can throw the knuckleball, you've seen with Tim Wakefield, 40-year-old players. They can do this for a long time, and being in a dome in Toronto, I think this is a good place for him. I like this move.
I agree to an extent. I just think R.A. Dickey had the one really, really great year. I mean, to give him credit. Now, Cy Young at his age and everything. I think it'll put him in the race. I don't think it's an absolute catapult to the top. I mean, he's a great pitcher right now. I mean, can he keep it up is the question. Can he at least keep up with 15 plus?
Can he face the AL's best?
Yeah, he's going to face the AL's best consistently.
You think he was a fluke from last year or no?
I believe more than not. Yes, I believe he was. He wasn't.
I agree.
He wasn't playing against very tough teams. He's out there with the Mets, the Phillies, and the Marlins. They both
Washington, Philly. Yeah.
Phillies and Marlins were terrible though last year, so you faced them a good amount of the year, and then you got teams like the Pirates and the Padres and the D-backs teams that are terrible out there. So I mean, it's definitely a big change. It's like Adrian Gonzalez. He did horrible when he did not horrible. He didn't like being over at the Red Sox area. I mean, and then he's coming over to Toronto. Granted, it's not a huge market, but it's facing a lot of big market teams, and Toronto's always had trouble with playing the other teams in their division every year. That seems to be their problem, and it's a big factor in trying to win the pennant. I just don't see how it's going to be as big of a deal as something like Josh Hamilton. Well, obviously, I think anyone would agree with that, but I just don't see how it's gonna impact.
But they already made their big move of the offseason.
I could see them being a wild card team. I don't think they'll take the division. I think they still got to prove themselves first for me to consider them to be a division winner.
Now the Blue Jays were looking for a solid ace ever since they let Roy Halladay go. The big prospect they got was Travis Day Arnaud, and he's actually the one who might be going to the Mets, the catching prospect, who's actually their best prospect. So they thought Ricky Romero was that guy. It turns out he had a bad season last year. He's not going to be that ace. Getting Johnson, getting Burley, possibly getting Dickey, throwing it in the rotation's not even going to be their strong point. It's going to be that lineup. Is that lineup going to carry them enough? Well, that remains to be seen. But I think it's a good.
Yeah, it's a very good move. More than what the Red Sox are doing.
Yeah,
so
true.
All right. Well, speaking of the Red Sox signed Ryan Dempster, 2 years, $26.5 million. Does anybody think that's a lot for Ryan Dempster?
I think that's a lot. I think he's.
Last year.
I think he's still a number 5 starter though. I think he's still a number 4 or 5 starter. I don't see him. Maybe for the Red Sox right now, he could be top 2. But I mean, he can't. I just can't see him carrying the Red Sox. I just think they could have went after someone like Kyle Loesch, who actually had a great season, and went after him and made him a top 2 pitcher to help Lester out. I don't think Dempster's going to be the key. I think they're just copping out right now, and they need to actually sign a big free agent and step it up a little more, or else we're never going to get out of last place. They're going to keep doing this stuff. I just don't see it. Because other teams are just developing more with Toronto, and Baltimore already had the playoffs last year, and the Yankees and the Rays were better than us. I mean, I just don't see us getting out of the cellar if we're not going to step up and make a big move. And, I mean, the Loesch would have been a bigger move than Dempster. I mean, it's a good signing, at least get another pitcher, as we need pitching right now, too. But I just think Fox is right. About $27 million for 2 years is ridiculous for Ryan Dempster. That's a lot of money. Could have signed him for like $16 million.
Yeah.
For 2 years. Too much.
All right, well, I agree with a lot of points you said there, perhaps, and I disagree in a little bit. I think Ryan Dempster, he's a real solid number 3 if you have two elite pitchers ahead of him. Lester and Buckles are not proven enough to be that 2 guys. I think they're going to have to rely on Dempster a little bit too much. And I think what Peps is saying, Loesch is he's a little bit younger, and he might have been the better way to go in a couple of years, but it's only a 2-year deal, and Dempster, I think, is a bigger name than Loesch. And the thing is, who else is out there? The Red Sox had to do something. They had to spend some of their money on some pitching.
Names mean nothing if they don't produce.
Yeah, but
no, I
don't think they needed to spend nearly as much money as they had.
No, I hear you.
Like, $39 million for Victorino, $27 million for Dempster. What the hell are we throwing money at for?
They did offer.
Might as well hand them $5 million to me now.
I mean, you could cut that.
Give me $5 million, and we'd be all set.
Other key assets.
The thing was, Ryan Dempster. The thing was, Ryan Dempster did say that he was a National League pitcher and that he was not going to sign with the American League. So the reason why they had to pay him that money is because they needed to.
I refuse to come.
But they offered him a 2-year, $25 million deal 2 weeks ago. He turned that down, so they upped it a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the money is the problem. I think the fact that it's only 2 years, I think that's a step in the right direction. It's probably going to be bridge him for the next couple of years, in my opinion. I don't hate the move. I just think. Because there's not much out there, that's why I kind of like the move.
I don't hate the move.
I don't hate the move. I just
until I see it.
I just don't.
I do think that maybe getting Kyle Loesch as well. I mean,
why not?
Kyle Loesch has actually been very consistent. Like he started off as just not a good pitcher at all, but he's been overlooked, I think.
Consistency is huge with Dempster, though. If you look at Dempster's track record, yeah, he's 37 now, but the last 5 years he's been pretty solid.
It all
he's been up and down.
It all comes down to the owners. They need to stop fooling around with this Liverpool bullshit and actually focus on the Red Sox. Because ever since they bought that Liverpool team, they've been the shit seller.
On paper, when Ryan Dempster last year, when he was on Chicago, he actually had the best ERA in the NL. And the fact that he went to AL, went to the Rangers, and then started to suck proves to me that maybe he might be the NL pitcher.
The AL is a whole different league. It's like a whole different league in its own.
All right, well, we're keeping things to finish off MLB right now in the AL East. The Yankees signed Kevin Youkilis to a 1-year, $12 million deal, and Ichiro to a 2-year, $13 million deal. Thoughts on Uke first? Yeah,
first of all, I think this is a solid move for the Yankees, considering that they do slap the Red Sox face right here with this move, and it's only 1 year, $12 million. $12 million of them is not that bad. 1 year just to help out with A-Rod for 6 months, possibly when A-Rod does get back. It's going to take him a while.
Hopefully we get to see a Beantown brawl.
And then maybe Youkilis has that playoff experience, and then possibly if somebody does get hurt, say a Mark Teixeira or A-Rod again, I mean, they, like I said, they are a little bit older, so they could use Kevin Youkilis off the bench after A-Rod gets back. I do like the move, but, I mean...
You know what they should have done?
I'm pissed at Kevin Youkilis for signing the Yankees.
They should have taken $5 million from Uke's contract and thrown it onto Ichiro. Uke is not worth more than Ichiro Suzuki throughout his whole career. 2 years, $13 million.
That's a slap in the face to
Ichiro for all the years of hard work and having thousands and thousands of hits in his career and everything, and always being the guy in the Mariners who never got to win anything. Just slap him in the face. Why give Uke 1 year, $12 million? What is he completely proven?
Well, I mean, the only reason why Kevin Youkilis signed with the Yankees is because he got $12 million.
He should have been paid half that at most. He did a shit show last year, and he gets $12 million. So I just take a dump on this floor and get paid $5 million. I'd be happy. I'd be very happy.
Are you saying it's a bad move for the?
It's a stupid. Well, for the Yankees, since they have like trillions of dollars hidden somewhere, it's a good move.
So that's what they had to do.
But it's just a dumb. It's just a dumb thing to do in general. You just signed him just to try and mess with mind games of the Red Sox. $12 million. Go ahead. You can try all the mind games you want. It's just a dumb move.
Now moving on with Ichiro here.
Good for Youkilis. He got a steal, literally. So
Ichiro's really smart and has been in his career financially. His last contract he signed with Seattle, he actually had a long-term deal, and it finally just worn out after he got traded. However, in his contract clause, for the next 30 years of his life, he actually gets $1 million from Seattle for every year that he does retire. So that's actually he's pretty solid there. So money is not, I mean, he's basically just looking for a ring here, and that's why he signed with the Yankees for 2 years here and not that much money, because he doesn't really need the money. And so I do like the move for Ichiro and for the Yankees signing Ichiro, because they needed an
I think that's a good deal. I think Ichiro could have got a little more, though. Take a couple million off there and throw it at him.
Yeah, I hear you.
All right, moving on to the NBA. The Lakers beat the Wizards finally to snap a 4-game skid. Thoughts on the Lakers this year, 10 and 14?
It's like the Lakers are just like the Angels of the NBA. They just had all those guys coming in a couple of years ago, and they just shit everywhere. And the Red Sox,
the Red Sox,
Angels and Red Sox, and the Braves as well. We'll say that. But it's just to be 10-14. I mean, honestly, it's early. I mean, there's still like 2/3 of the season at least left. There's more than 2/3 left. I just think that you should be the opposite. You should be 14-10. That's semi-respectable. You should be at least like, I don't even know. You should be like 16-8 or something like that. You shouldn't be 10-14. It should just be a complete switch around and then take away 2 and add 2. It's just, I think the morale...
The caliber players they have on this team. I mean, despite Nash and Paul Gasol being injured, you just can't let that happen.
You can't let that happen. I mean, the caliber of the players, I think it's the morale and maybe just the coaching in general. I mean, I don't see why they shouldn't be at the complete top, the Lakers of the old. They
need some
Zen. They need some. They should have signed Phil Jackson. That could have been the difference.
They need the sensei.
I just don't understand why they're so bad. It's just maybe they're focused too much on the offense, and now they're not playing defense again. Back to D'Antoni's style of playing that he always used on every team he coached, and they always failed. So 10-14 Lakers are just. Hey, blame the coach. Why not?
There's an identity crisis over there in the Lakers. Ever since they got Dwight Howard and Steve Nash, everyone's always been saying how Kobe Bryant, he likes to be that number one guy. When he had Shaq on his team, he always had problems with Shaq because Shaq was sometimes seen as the number one guy. And then when he got older, finally got shipped out. Now, the Lakers last couple of years were in their heyday with Pau Gasol because he was the clear number 2 and Kobe was the lead front man. And Kobe loves having the ball. So what's the 2 things that they do this year? And I'll admit it, I thought on paper just throwing everything out there, just putting this team together, they were going to win all these games. But looking at it, Dwight Howard, he's always liked to be the guy. The reason why he wanted to leave Orlando was because he wanted to be a big name in LA over there. And then also the Steve Nash thing, he's been hurt, but their whole game plan has been geared towards Steve Nash handling the ball, so that's pissing Kobe off. And like Pep said, with morale, there's a huge morale problem in the Lakers locker room right now.
Kobe called Pau Gasol soft. This man's been backing your ass up for the last 4 or 5 years. And Kobe's been making comments. You can't be calling him soft.
Kobe's supposed to be a leader. I mean, he's been making comments that are just, despite their 10-14 records, he's been saying like, "Oh, I'd like to face the Globetrotters. I wish they were on it." Like shit like that. Like
that's just
if you're trying to boost your team to rise above, that's just gonna. As a teammate, that's just gonna piss me off even more.
But the thing is, Kobe Bryant,
the chemistry is just not there.
Dwight Howard and Kobe are a bad combination. Why would you ever bring these two on the same team?
You can bring the best players in the world to play on one single team, but if they all have their thumbs up their asses, nothing's gonna get accomplished.
Dwight had problems with Stan Van Gundy. Kobe had problems with Phil Jackson, and you combine the two, it's just going to be an all-out war. What are you asking for?
Now the thing is,
you just want to bring the light and stage, but you don't want to bring the results.
The thing is, they are only 10-14, so it's not that big of a deal. In basketball, there is obviously 8 seeds, so all they have to do is be the 8th seed in the West and get in there, and then experience. I think the problem is the Lakers getting all these players in here, like I said, it was like the Heat a couple years ago. They had some problems the first couple of months of the season, then they got it together, and then got it into the playoffs, and then made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, won the Eastern Conference Finals, got to the championship. That could possibly happen. I don't think that will happen with Oklahoma City, though. However, I think what John said with Kobe Bryant, I think what he's doing is he's trying to wake these players up in these press conferences.
Yeah, I know.
Never before. Kobe's always been saying, "Hey, listen, we're chill. We're gonna just get through this."
He always called out teammates, though. Anyways.
I just want to say one thing. I think the whole thing here is with Dwight Howard, with Steve Nash. When Steve Nash does get healthy, he's a perfect veteran leader for this team. Similarly, Jason Kidd with the Knicks, possibly.
I love Steve
like he was, like I'm going to talk about in a second. But I think eventually Kobe Bryant and Dwight Howard will get it together. I think the problem is Pau Gasol. In my opinion, Pau Gasol has always been that Kobe second guy, and now he's basically the 4th guy. If I was, and the thing is, like Pep said with Mike D'Antoni, the whole defense thing is a problem.
Yeah.
And
giving up almost 100 points a game, you can't be doing that stuff.
I have a solution here. I think Pau Gasol does have some trade value out there. I think you could possibly trade Pau Gasol. I think your team would be better if you did get rid of Pau Gasol. That's all I'm saying. Because I think Pau Gasol doesn't like being the fourth best player on that team. And that's
well, you tried too much of a defense coach. Now you have too much of an offense coach. You need to find a balance. Get them both out of there, man. Yeah. I mean, bring in Phil Jackson again.
Like Kobe.
Why would you? I mean, yeah. Honestly, I don't see why to just you get Phil Jackson back. Even like honestly, they should have done that because he's the best at trying to bring these people together. Even with Shaq and Kobe, issues, they still won championships.
Right.
All right, moving on to our final topic in the NBA. The Knicks are 2 games better than anyone in the whole entire East. Are they the NBA's best?
And like what I just said with Jason Kidd has been a huge addition for the Knicks here. And this has all been without Amari Stoudemire. Now, Carmelo Anthony is day-to-day with, I think, a left knee sprain, I believe. Now, that's going to be a huge problem if they lose Carmelo. But if Carmelo is healthy, this team is real good. And this East is wide open, in my opinion. Brooklyn is not as good as people think they are, in my opinion. I don't think that Boston is as bad as people think. Yeah. So I think they'll still creep up a little bit. But it's really Knicks and the Heat are going to win this. Are going to win this East. Bulls, after losing Derrick Rose for the whole season, that's going to kill them. They're out of this, in my opinion. It's just Heat and Knicks. And once the Knicks get Amari Stoudemire back, I think this team's going to be rolling.
They should just leave him out.
Yeah,
just keep him out.
That's the thing. This is another thing. We're talking about Kobe Bryant. This could happen with the Knicks. When they get Amari Stoudemire back, you're going to have Raymond Felton out there again, have Carmelo Anthony. Everyone's going to want the ball. This is the reason why they got Jeremy Lin. So it looks all great now, but maybe once Amari Stoudemire does get back, they could cause some problems. But eventually you do need him back.
The Knicks are, like, they're not the... I mean, even though they're the best in the East right now, honestly, it's Oklahoma City, obviously. We're at the top in general. I just think Oklahoma City, like, along with probably most of the world, that Oklahoma City is the best team in the NBA right now.
Right.
But, I mean...
And the Heat.
They still got to... Well, that's what I was about to say. I mean, they still got to prove that they can even beat the Heat, because they've had their issues in the past with the Heat. They pretty much... Didn't they get swept last year by in the playoffs? Something, they got swept... They've been demoralized by the Heat, all the hype for the Knicks. Honestly, they can get their defense keeping strong and everything, and they got the offensive power and catalysts to take over the whole entire Eastern Conference. I think that they keep this up and they get Stoudemire back, and if the key is if he can get along with everybody and they can keep this up with him, then you have a massive body underneath there too, along with everybody else with Stoudemire and his experience. And I really think that will be the key to them beating a team like the Miami Heat. I believe this is their year. If they can get Stoudemire to get along with everybody else, I think it'll be their year to take over the East, over the Heat, because it seems like the Heat have just haven't won it as bad as they did last year. It's a hangover of the championship. And
Tyson Chandler, in my opinion, has been the best center in the East right now. He's been playing huge leadership. Versatile. I think the thing with the Knicks is what Pep said is they got a great balance. They got real good experience. They got young guys. They got people who can run. They got people who can play half-court offense. They can play defense now with losing D'Antoni. Great coaching there by Mike Woodson. I think this is a whole new team. Jeremy Lin's out there. We just got to wait for Amari Stoudemire.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the NFL. The Patriots absolutely dismantled the Texans 42-14. Are they the best team in the league?
Well, their offense is the best team in the league, and this was without Gronkowski. The thing is, when I said last week, there's no team that's going to actually stop Brady in that offense. There's no defense in it. It was a good test with San Francisco, who, in my opinion, has the best defense. But there's no player. J.J. Watt, best defensive player in the game. What he does for that defense in Houston is unmatchable. But the thing is, nobody's going to actually get up and stop Tom Brady, stop this receiving core, stop Dante Scarnecchia in this offensive line. Nobody's going to stop them. You're going to have a good enough offense to play with the Patriots defense, and Matt Schaub did not do that. And as good as Andre Johnson and Arian Foster is, something with Houston offense, when I see that, I just don't think, if you can get a 3-touchdown lead is what the Patriots had when they were up 21-0, Matt Schaub's not going to bring the team back. Yeah. And nobody's going to be able to run with Tom Brady offensively unless you're the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers.
I agree. I think they are the best team in the league, and the key to that is I feel like their defense is way better, even if not on paper. I think the defense is way better this year than last year. I think that's a big key. They are second best in takeaways, right behind the Chicago Bears. If not right, they're like one behind them. Second most takeaways. Second most takeaways in the whole entire league, and their defense is ranked one of the worst. I honestly just think it comes down to that in something like playoffs. Those takeaways. And the fact that Brady only has 4 picks for the whole season, if they can limit these turnovers and get these takeaways, they can win the championship with this team. Yep. They can do it. I honestly believe people like Denard and McCourty, everyone just keeps, Denard can develop, and I believe that they can be a great secondary in the back there, and I believe that the front can hang with it, and Tom Brady will just do the rest. That's the way I think it's going to be, and if they keep this up, these takeaways and everything, it's the big reason. The takeaway, they're up 7-0. Schaub's right near the end zone. McCourty picks it off. That's the biggest swing ever in a football game right there. You're up 7-0. You're near the opponent's end zone. You throw a pick and it comes out of nowhere. That just demoralizes you. Then they went 21-0 from there, and it's just there was no going back. I mean, it's just. Houston just can't match the offensive power of the Patriots, and the fact that the takeaways are there, and that takeaway proved to be huge. So I believe that with this team, they can pull it out. They're the Patriots. I believe they could do anything. They'll do it.
There's a glaring weakness on Houston, and that's the secondary for Houston Texans. People are just throwing on this defense all day. Jonathan Joseph's a real good corner, but the whole defense as a whole, the safeties for Houston, Tom Brady was picking this team apart.
And Stallworth beat them.
Yeah, that's saying something. But I mean, Tom Brady in this offense, like I said, I think that defense, all that defense has to do is be good. And this offense is absolutely legendary, and together, I think this team is the best team in the league just by default because of this offense. And like I said, this is all without Rob Gronkowski. Once he gets back in the fold, this team's going to be running.
Brady could find a homeless guy on an alleyway and make him into the top
Caldwell. Like Richard Caldwell, basically fucking David Gibbons.
The key in the playoffs, the thing is, the defense turned it on last year, big time, in the playoffs, and they were supposedly like the second worst, not the worst, and it's just, they're better this year, they have takeaways with them. If they step it up like they did last year with the takeaway number that they have this year, they'll win the championship, because I think Brady will be able to do better than he did with last year with all the problems that he had.
Steve Gregory and Aqib Talib have been huge additions to the takeaways here.
Yeah, definitely. All right, moving on to our favorite part of the show, Games of the Week. We got 5 this week, very big games. To start us off, the 9-4 Colts will face off against the 11-2 Texans. So, who wants to take this one
I'm going to say Houston rebounds here. I think Indy and Houston, being in the same division, they still play each other twice in the next 2-3 weeks. This is going to be a loss, in my opinion, for Andrew Luck. I think Houston's going to rebound. I think Matt Schaub's going to rebound, specifically for Houston in that offense. I think this defense has to be decent enough to stop Andrew Luck, and I think they will be. Andrew Luck is not that same overpowering force, at least as of yet, as Tom Brady is offensively, in my opinion. And I think that defense is going to show up Houston. I think J.J. Watt, everyone's saying how Aldon Smith might be better because of the sack total. I watched that game, every single play, and J.J. Watt is an absolute force at every single down for Houston. He's out there huffing and puffing. He's completely out of oxygen, but he still goes. He has a huge motor. Just keeps on going after the quarterback. If he's not going after the quarterback, he's swatting balls down. He's going, if the quarterback makes a play, and he'll run him all the way to the end zone and try to force fumble like he did with what it was, Brandon Lloyd, and then Danny Woodhead, and then Brandon Lloyd caught it anyways. But he's just has an absolute motor on every single play.
Three reasons why Houston's going to win this game. First of all, they're home, and they need to be home after that horrendous loss on the road against the Patriots. Second of all, because their defense is better than the Colts, and I think at home the defense will be twice as much better than they are usually. And third of all, because Matt Schaub has something to prove, and he's going to prove it this game. I think he's going to pick apart the Colts defense, and Foster and Schaub are going to do the job that they're supposed to do, and Johnson's going to go off. I think the Texans are going to win this one relatively easily, even with a late attempt to come back from Andrew Luck. But I got to give credit to Andrew Luck though. It's honestly a great season. No, right. They predicted 4-9, probably not 9-4 right now. I would have to say the score would be 27-17 Houston.
I'll say 28-17 Houston.
So you're both going with Houston?
Yep.
Yeah. I as well will go with Houston on this one, but I think I don't think it's going to be that easy as you guys expect it to be. I think it might be a very close one.
And like I said, this Houston secondary, Andrew Luck.
Luck's theatrics at the end of games now. I mean,
so much respect for that.
I mean, Donald Brown goes out, but
Vic Ballard.
Yeah, Vic Ballard. I mean, he's stepping up big time, and
what do you think?
But they don't really need him to step up. That Houston defense.
3 points.
I'd say the game relies on how well the Colts play the run. I mean, defend the run against Arian Foster, against Ben Tate, against Justin.
And how well
Forsett.
can that pass defense affect Andrew Luck?
Yeah.
I think Andrew Luck may be able to.
I think he may be able to. I think he'll.
Big breakout game for fantasy people if they're entering the championship here. T.Y. Hilton, I think, is going to have a huge game. Jonathan Joseph's going to be on Reggie Wayne, and Andrew Luck's going to be looking to air it out. I think T.Y. Hilton's going to have a huge game here.
All right, moving on to game 2. Broncos 10-3 at Baltimore 9-4.
I think the Baltimore offense, as I've always thought forever, they're very overrated. I think 9-4 is a stretch for them. I think the defense is going to be bailing them out. I believe that
Ray Lewis is not coming back here.
Oh, okay. Well, that's even more of a reason to pick the Broncos. The Broncos are going to win on the road. This is a statement win for Peyton Manning and the Broncos to show that they can beat a playoff team that's been to the AFC Championship numerous times. And I really just believe that Peyton will do it, and the defense will hold against a very, very mediocre Joe Flacco lately. I don't see Baltimore winning this. They're going to be home, but they're going to miss Ray Lewis because Peyton Manning is going to pull it out. He's going to shut shit down. Yeah.
They missed Ray Lewis's last couple of weeks, and Ray Lewis was supposed to be coming back to face Peyton Manning here, but I think they're doing the right job holding on another few weeks, possibly to the playoffs, which is the right move here. I think Baltimore's going to miss that bye, but if they get into the wild card, Ray Lewis will be there. I think I'm going to go agree with Peps here. I think Denver is going to win this game. I think Peyton Manning has a lot to prove against that Baltimore defense. Like Pep said, it is a little overrated. Part of that's because they lost Ladarius Webb, who's gone very underrated there because everyone's talking about losing Ray Lewis, possibly getting older. But losing Ladarius Webb at the cornerback there, he's a real good corner, and that's why people are picking apart Ravens defense. I think Peyton Manning's going to have a huge game. Demaryius Thomas, I believe, is going to have a huge game in this one. I think Denver is better than people think they are right now. They're an actual championship contender right now, and I don't think Baltimore is as good as them. Von Miller? There's a lot of defensive players right now. Alvin Smith, Von Miller.
It's not even funny.
So it's pretty good.
I'd say I'm going to go with 31-17 for this game.
I'll say this right now. I think the Denver Broncos are the second best team in the AFC after the Patriots, ahead of Houston and Baltimore.
I agree. I think it comes down to the quarterback too there.
Yep.
Because mediocre Schaub and Flacco who are erratic, and then you have the proven Peyton Manning and Tom Brady's of the NFL, and they're going to.
You got a score here, Peps?
Well, I just 31-17.
All right. I believe. I'm gonna go a little bit lower here. I think it's gonna be a little bit of a defensive battle. I'm gonna say 21. I'll say 21-13.
All right, I'll also go with the Broncos. You guys know that I don't do scores because it's a little too hard to
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, if you actually really think about, I know, but I have a problem with being wrong, but as we all do.
Nobody watches anyways.
Yeah.
Nobody watches.
But that's sports show that nobody watches. All right, but anyways. Baltimore, it's not quite yet a back against the wall situation, but you got to think. The games that we're going to talk about next, the Steelers win. Baltimore.
I think Baltimore.
They started off ridiculous.
I think they're pretty safe.
I don't think they're as safe.
They'll
as
get
you
into
are,
gear.
but all right. Here we go. These are where it starts to count right here. Giants 8-5. Next game at Atlanta 11-2. Pick that one.
I'm kind of deciding my head. As much as I just despise the Giants with all my heart and soul and everything deep down. I hate them completely. They're a December team.
Yeah, but you can't let that go against your judgment. You got to pick what you really actually
feel. Against the Giants a lot recently.
I think the Giants are going to win on the road here. I think this is a huge win for the Giants. I think they're going to go into Atlanta and beat them by a very close margin of 17-14. I think it's going to be a defensive showdown, even with I don't know. for some reason, I just don't see Atlanta pulling it out. I feel like they've had a couple of tough losses there, and honestly, I'm rooting for Atlanta, but I'm gonna go with my brain on this one. I'm gonna say the Giants are the road team that's gonna pull it out against Atlanta. They've proven that they can beat them several times. They beat them last year's playoffs. They demolished them, made them look horrible. I think they're gonna beat them this year. I think they're gonna beat them on Sunday. I think they'll beat them by 3 points.
You know what this game really reminds me of? It reminds me of a playoff game. I think Eli's due for a real big game, like I've been saying. I think Matt Ryan just lost to Carolina and let Cam Newton absolutely kill him on the ground and the air. I don't think Matt Ryan's these last couple of weeks he's not been MVP worthy at all.
Oh, no.
And his MVP race has gone down, and it looks like it's going to be Peyton Manning or Tom Brady. And I think the thing with Matt Ryan is, looking at this game, it screams that Eli's got to win these December games to possibly get this team into the playoffs. And you never thought the Giants were possibly not going to make the playoffs, but now that Dallas is good and Des Bryant will play with his finger injury, now you got Redskins who can possibly, RG3 is going to be out, but they're still right there. I think that Eli needs a win here. I'm going to go with the upset as well. I'm going to say Eli wins here against Matt Ryan.
It's going to be a close one, though.
I'm going to say it's a shootout. I'm going to say it's going to be 35-28.
Even though it is the very end of the season, it doesn't really matter for Atlanta anymore.
And that's the reason why
you have to think. I know. Yeah. But you have to think about it now. If you're not going to play your best potential game, you're going to let Eli come into your house, beat you. You have to potentially face them in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That could F you so hard.
What's huge for Atlanta is they need to win these games because they need this first round bye. They need to get past that first round.
That's the thing. If they blow the rest of the season,
let me tell you, Atlanta doesn't want to face the. No, I don't think anybody really wants to face the Giants ever in the playoffs. In the last,
I think Tom Brady might want to face the Giants.
Oh, definitely. Well, but you got to think about it. What if he loses again? All right. So. You're both going with the Giants. I'm going to side with Atlanta on this one, cool. So I'll be the odd man out.
Like most people, though.
Okay, all right. Oh, okay.
What is going on?
I'm saying most people are picking Atlanta.
Well, yeah, I'm not going with them just because they're 11-2. Yeah, I'm saying it's a must. I
feel like
a crucial win.
They're a better Atlanta team than last year. I think, obviously, but I think it's a more crucial win. I think it's a crucial win for the Giants.
Well, yeah, obviously. I mean,
but it's also you can look at Matt Ryan.
The Giants.
It's a more crucial win for the Giants because of the next matchup that we're going to talk about.
Yep.
2-3 in their last 5. Right. They're going to pull off a statement win on the road.
All right. Having said that, the Giants a crucial win. Next game, Steelers 7-6 at Dallas 7-6. That's the crucialness of it.
I personally believe
if you're gonna
Dallas is going to choke at home in front of all of America's fans.
Yes.
The Steelers are going to go in there with Roethlisberger coming back. He's going to be feeling better than ever he has this whole entire season. He's going to go in there and absolutely smack the shit out of the Dallas Cowboys. It's not even going to be fair. The Cowboys are going to choke under pressure like they have years and years and years. They're going to choke, and the
if you were to ever define threat, Dallas Cowboys would never be under that.
Never be in the conversation of threat.
Never.
No.
I tell you who's a threat, though.
Choke.
It's Des Bryant. And Des Bryant
Tony Romo throws like a 5-year-old girl. He's horrible.
All right,
Tony Romo, interception and touchdown ratio.
Tony Romo will throw, he'll give you 400 yards, but he'll throw at least a good
10 interceptions, 500 yards. I'll take none of that. None of that, please.
I mean, why do you think they're 7-6 this year?
Can I take some minutes here, please? All right, I think I've been on Dallas' bandwagon these last few weeks. I'm going to go with Dallas here. I think Des Bryant is pumped. And Tony Romo looks, all of a sudden, he looks all rejuvenated in his season.
Make me laugh.
He looks like he's pumped up. This whole Dallas team looks pumped up. And Redskins, too. I think all of a sudden this NFC East is wide open like it always is every year. I think Tony Romo is going to be...
I don't want to become the next Drew Bledsoe.
Hey, listen. Des Bryant...
I don't want somebody to take my job and get great.
Can I finish my point?
Go ahead.
Everyone's just going to thunder. Go ahead. Des Bryant has a hurt finger, but he's saying, listen, nobody's keeping me down for these until the end of the regular season. Des Bryant's going to come in there and have a huge game against Steelers pass defense. I think this is going to be a great win for Dallas. It's going to be an epic win for Dallas. In front of their home crowd, I'm going Tony Romo's going to actually shred this
Yeah.
defense.
You know what's going to get shredded? Tony Romo's hole by Troy Polamalu. That's exactly what's going to happen.
No one's shredded Tony Romo.
Yikes!
Tony Romo's going to win this game. He's going to win big.
But I believe Pittsburgh's going to win 27-7.
I'm going to say that Dallas wins 41-21.
Stiffs.
All right, well, I'm not even going to say what I was about to say because it's just totally inappropriate.
Des Bryant's going to have a huge game if he plays.
All right, here we go. All right, game of the week. 49ers 9-3 and 1. And at New England, who are obviously 10-3.
All right, let me take this one just so I can get some.
Oh, okay. Oh, I mean, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'm going to just go through this San Francisco Giants defense real quick. I think, like I said, J.J. Watt is the best defensive player, but there is no better defense in the game right now than San Francisco. Look at that defense. Deshaun Goldson, Dante Whitner, Carlos Rogers, one of the best secondaries in the game. But talk about linebackers. You've got Patrick Willis and Varro Bowman, who might be the two best linebackers in the game. Throw Ahmad Brooks in there. Isaac Sapawago in the line. Justin Smith, great in the trenches, one of the most underrated defensive players in the game, in my opinion. Their version of Vince Wilfork. But, like I said, nobody can stop Tom Brady. This offense is too good. Nobody's going to be able to stop Tom Brady. Tom Brady's going to absolutely turn this one into a Colin Kaepernick, Tom Brady offensive showdown, and he's going to win it.
Ain't going to be much of a showdown because Kaepernick isn't allowed to throw the damn ball.
Well, he can run it.
Yeah, I know, but he is a relatively good arm. In his first start, he was like almost perfect in throwing. He was like 7 for 7 with like almost 200 yards and a touchdown. Like they're making him play conservative, and that's what cost them against the Rams in the end of that game. They made him be too conservative. It's not going to happen. I just don't see.
They just don't
San
have the
winning.
They don't have the offense.
They have the defense. They don't have the
quarterback.
The quarterback is not as tenacious as the other quarterback. That's why they're going to lose.
Well, yeah, it's Tom Brady.
Well, Kaepernick's pretty damn tenacious too for a young guy. He's a tough bastard.
He's mediocre, but that's the thing that's going to win the game. You get the scoringest offense in the league. Okay, against the team that ties and loses to the Rams. Okay, that's what you got to think about.
It's like having an Alex Smith.
Lost to Buffalo twice.
Yeah, but that's Ryan Fitzpatrick. I mean,
San Fran lost to the Rams.
We lost to Seattle.
They lost to the Rams. They tied the Rams. San Fran tied the Rams and lost
Seattle's
to the
not
Rams.
even bad.
You know what nobody's talking about here?
We lost by 2 points, 1 point, and 1 point.
Yeah.
In all of those games. Nobody else can say that they've lost by a total of 4 points in their 3 friggin' losses. Like the Patriots did.
Well,
they got screwed.
I mean, they're not losing anything anymore. So
the loss came in the fact that absolutely nobody covered Sidney Rice in our end zone.
And a field goal never existed. Replacement refs.
He was like, yeah, I'll take it. And there's the loss.
Oh, we think the field goal's good, but we don't know. We know over the other side. But,
all right, so we all go
I'm not done with my pick.
All right, go ahead.
Now, I'm just saying, the only thing that nobody's talking about the Patriots is their ability to stop the run. They're absolutely killing any running back that they play against. Taking away Aaron Foster. You look at this game, you're going to think, oh, maybe Frank Gore is going to be able to shred this Patriots defense. Vince Wilfork is absolutely taking out anyone. Rob Ninkovich and Brandon Spikes. That trio right now is absolutely torching any running back possible. You look at Aaron Foster, I thought he was going to have a great game. He absolutely got killed. Frank Gore has no shot here. And Colin Kaepernick, that's going to be the difference. They're going to try to run the option a lot here. Colin Kaepernick's going to use his legs.
They're not going to have a chance.
They're going to need a throw.
If he doesn't throw.
Tom Brady's going to be able to beat this offense. And I'm going to say that Tom Brady wins in a shootout. I'm going to say he wins 35-31.
I'm going to say 35-17. I don't think they're going to step up with the offense. I think they're going to go away quick. They're going to take this away quick from them.
Cool. All right, so we're all going with the Patriots. That's it's a good 3-0 right there. So
there we go. Perfect.
All right. Well, unless any of you can think of anything else, I mean that pretty much wraps up this one. Producer.
We forgot to talk about Michael Young being traded to the Phillies.
What?
Good one.
Yes. All right. Don't say that you didn't know that.
No, this is
all right. All right. Go ahead. All right.
I think the producer. Yeah, this is another player that the Rangers are losing on this offense.
With the loss of Shane Victorino.
That's just horrible. The Rangers should just go in a hole and die now. It's just that's terrible.
No, they need a veteran leader. You know, they got Chase Utley over there, but then all of a sudden they can move Michael Young there. They can have him play third base now. They've been looking for a third baseman for a while. Placido Polanco, a couple guys that thrown out there. Michael Young, get in there. I think it's a solid move for the Phillies.
Yeah. All right. Well, that pretty much sums it up for this episode of The Pitch. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, anything. Obviously, subscribe to us on YouTube.
At The Pitch with FPM.
Yep. Recently made some updates on that. No longer FBM.
Intense.
You know what that means?
Changes.
Oh, yeah. All right.
We triple as many followers as we do views, and that's 3.
The P changed it all. That's the thing.
Until next week, we're The Pitch. See you guys.
Later.